Tuesday before Thanksgiving. How are things going? How's your week? Do you have your kids at home with you all week this week or just Thursday, Friday? I'm curious to know. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have them all week. Drop a 2 in the chat if you don't have them at home with you until the end of the week. Are kids at home all week? So listen, I want to ask something honest today. All right. Have you ever poured your heart into a post, hit publish, and sat there wondering why no one cares? Why your likes are low, why your views are quiet, your DMs are empty, even though you know you're showing up with purpose? Well, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not the problem. Okay? Drop a 1 if you've ever felt invisible online. Okay? So we are shifting gears. We are going to shift the content a little bit. All right? It is, let's see, it's about 10:15 a.m. where I am. And I'm thrilled you're here today because we're going to get real about something I've seen in the data and in the DMs that so many of you faith-driven moms are feeling. Okay? You know, I've been looking at messages and seeing a pattern. We've been sharing encouragement with each other. So today I am going to shift gears. I want to give you not just inspiration, but real actionable steps that you can take today. So whether your goals are more financial freedom, faster income, or just reducing stress at home, let's make sure your husband isn't carrying the entire financial load. Are you with me? So if you're a mom who wants to work from home, build income with purpose, and keep faith at the center, this call today is for you. Okay? We are talking about real financial goals and how to create income earning activities that will actually fit into your life. Yes, we're going to mention faith-driven moms. We're going to talk to the moms who want to reduce the stress load and those who want to support their families. Okay? If you want to support your families financially without burnout, stay here. I want you to know that we're creating space where you get solutions and steps, just one step at a time. Okay? So share this live with a friend who wants and needs it. Invite them to join us every day at 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, and let's dive in. If you've ever felt invisible online, I need you to drop a 1 in the chat. Because here's what I need you to hear today with clarity and grace. It's not that you're not talented. It's not that you're too late. And it's not that the algorithm hates you. So what is it? It's that no one's ever taught you the system behind content that converts. So let's let this land here. Okay? Think about that for a minute. You've never actually been taught how to create content that converts. Friends, God didn't call you to hustle. He called you to build. But building does require structure, right? When you are building a house, you can't start with the walls. You have to start with the foundation, right? So let's build our content on a firm foundation, okay? So that means you need to know what you need to create a content plan. Okay, so how do we build a content plan? Well, first we need to back up and we need to identify why content fails to land with our viewers. All right, Most moms are creating content from pressure, not from strategy. You're posting because you think you know what people want instead of communicating a clear message with clarity. So you don't have a message problem, you have a message clarity problem. When someone can't tell who you help, what you help them with, or what you help them do, and why it matters, they keep scrolling, right? So what's the missing ingredient? Well, this is where everything will shift. If your income depends on showing up every day, you haven't built a business, you've built another job. And if you're tied to TikTok the same way you're tied to a 9-to-5, nothing changes. So what you need is a simple, repeatable system that works even when you're living your life, right? Even when you're doing school drop-offs, even when you're cooking dinner, even when you're resting. So automation isn't optional, right? Because your content should not be the end of the journey. It should be the beginning of the journey. All right, friends, if you're scrolling through right now and you're flipping through and you're here hearing me, come on in the room. We're talking about why content doesn't convert. And I need a few mamas who are ready to make a shift and take control of their content, pay attention to the details and the analytics. I need y'all to step into this room so that we can have a conversation about what you are actually encountering. What are you facing here? And why aren't you getting the results that you want? When I'm scrolling through my FYP, what do I see every single day? I see TikTok tips, right? I see the tips from all the creators who tell you why your content doesn't convert or why it's why it's in jail. Isn't that what they say? They say, oh, your content's in jail. You've been shadow banned. What does that even mean? Well, and how do we avoid it? Okay. First of all, we have to look at what has worked and what hasn't. I know everyone here who is posting their own content. You can't just repost and hope that that's going to take off. You have to create your own content with your own voice if you truly want to build that connection with other people. And so you have to go back to what content is getting the views. What information did you put into that content? What did you put in your audio? What did you put in writing? What hashtags did you use? Right? So if you're talking to other moms who want to work from home and you want to help them begin that journey of creating an online income, were your posts hitting home with them? Okay, so if it hit home with them, did you follow up with another post that picked up where that last one left off? Okay, so we always need automations that picks up where our post ends. Whether it's the next piece of content, whether it is, an email that goes out, that's a campaign that keeps people engaged. So when someone comments or views your live, someone grabs something free from you, your system then needs to step in and keep the conversion going. This is how daily income becomes possible. Not because you're working more, but because your content finally has a place to go. So I'm not here promising daily income, but I'm learning the skill set for potential daily income, right? And potential becomes daily because I follow through with consistency and I implement what I learn. Who's following me here? Drop a 1 in the chat if that's landing with you. So when moms finally learn to systemize instead of scramble, online income becomes real, predictable, and peaceful. It's not always overnight. Sometimes it does work overnight, but rarely. Those are one in few chances. It's not by accident, but it's because of clarity and consistency. Listen, moms, you can't ignore this. So come on in the room and join the conversation. We're talking about why content doesn't convert. So there was a time when I was doing everything right, but nothing was working. I was posting, praying, trying, and repeating. The breakthrough didn't come, though, because I did more. It came because I learned to do the right things. So what changed for me was getting a system in place that worked, even when I didn't feel like I had anything left to give. Okay, can we talk about what's coming tomorrow? This is exciting. Tomorrow, I'm opening up something new for moms who are done surviving and ready to finally build with support, clarity, and confidence. Who wants to hear more about this? Come on in the room. Let's have some conversations about what type of communities you're already in versus what's missing. And let's identify whether or not this surprise is going to fill that gap. Okay, I'm not giving you all the details today, but if you want to be in the first wave, you do need to be on my email list. And so I'm going to tell you how to do that. You can go right here, click on my face, and then it's going to take you and show you an link. You're going to follow that, put in your email, and then it's going to send you the same message that I got that started changing everything for me. But once you do that, then you're on my list and you'll get the first wave of details first thing in the morning. Isn't that exciting? I love dropping new stuff, and I'm real excited to finally build a place, a private space in a platform that feels safe and secure, where we don't run into those SPAM errors and we can focus on moving from called to equipped to taking action, which is called what? Activation. So if we want to go through that, and we want to go through that quickly, we've got to actually spend some time together, right? We have to take enough time to identify what's been standing in our way, what things we need to change in our plan of action, then put a new plan together, and then take action, right? So the first thing I need you to do is to get on that list. You're going to do that by either dropping it here, but if you do that, it might take an hour or so before you get the message in your inbox. But if you go up here and you put it in and do it yourself by following that link in my bio, then at that point, you will get the message in like 5 minutes. Let's say real quick, y'all tell me where you're tuning in from. Drop your name in the chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from and what you're most excited about this Thanksgiving week. Can we talk personal for just a minute? I'm going to wait here for a few more minutes, wait on your questions to come through. And while we're doing that, I'm going to pull up just a couple little steps that I've been following that are making a big difference in my content. Okay. Let me see if I can find these notes of mine. Okay. So when your content isn't working, you got to ask yourself some questions. Okay. Who wants to hear some of the questions that are going to help activate your mindset and help trigger the thoughts that are going to help you make a difference in your content moving forward? Are you ready for that? Will you drop a 1 in the chat? Okay, first you have to have awareness, right? You have to be aware and realistic that your content is converting or it's not converting. So why isn't my content converting? Okay, well, let's ask ourselves, what kind of content are you posting? How often are people taking action? And when you post, what is your goal? And what is missing from your message? Okay. So if you can shift from information to education, things start feeling a little bit different, right? They are going to land with your audience a little bit better. Y'all come in the room and get engaged. Let's see where everybody's tuning in from. And let's talk about moving our content from information to education. Because when we do that, we're serving others, right? And when we serve others, everything else follows. So it's Tuesday. It's about 10:30 here on the East Coast. I'm in Georgia. Where are you tuning in from? Where are you guys tuning in from? If you're tuning in from the Southeast, you can say the Southeast. If you're tuning in from the West Coast, let me know that too. Okay, so when you scroll, what stops your scroll? What emotion are you having when you stop the scroll and start listening? What emotions do you want other people to have when you get them to stop their scroll? Okay, we gotta know, because if we want other people to feel those emotions, we have to know what emotions we're trying to evoke. I want my audience to believe that ... fill in the blank. Okay, what's next? Ooh. All right, the next thing you need to make sure your content does is create some urgency. All right, people operate off FOMO. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who just mentioned this to me the other day. She is someone I know needs extra rest in her life for specific reasons, but her family is busy, 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 busy. And so when we talk about her schedule and what's coming up next, I remind her it's okay to rest. You don't have to be present for all of it. Your family knows you love them, all the things, right? And she admitted she has to get over her FOMO. She has a huge fear of missing out when it comes to anything with her family. She wants to be a part of every bit of it. Now, we can all relate to that. Am I right? We all want to be a part of every moment. We don't want to miss those precious moments with our family. So if we have FOMO, what triggers FOMO in us? And how can we trigger FOMO in other people? Okay, because it's real. And that is what triggers that sense of urgency. So we have to understand that urgency isn't pressure, right? When you can create that urgency, it's leadership. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to see about creating some urgency for you guys to get in. Okay. How about I get one of you in here to tap, 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 engage, and share this with one person, one other mom that you know who needs to address her content because it's not converting. Come on in the room. Let's engage and let's build each other up, but also let's talk about real actionable steps we can take to improve our content. Are you looking for a mentor who's already done it before you and who's already figured it out? Are you spending time in other people's live rooms to see what they're doing that's working and bringing it back and applying it in your room? Are you just going on with a whim? Okay, so I'll be honest, you can see my count up top and it's low. It's because something's missing from my content still, or my time is wrong. Okay, I don't think it's anything that I'm saying. It could be because there are certain words that the platform doesn't love. I think I know what those words are and I try to avoid them. Okay, but I think that I'm really good at guiding people through a visual, right? I'm good at painting pictures, helping people understand and feel like I know what's wrong. I've felt it too. But what I'm missing is something that I'm unaware of yet. But I'm here doing the research. I'm here showing up day after day, showing up consistently until we find each other. Because I know when we find each other, game over. Like, my group of besties feels exactly what I've already been through or what I'm going through right now. And we need each other like we need white on rice. So if you're looking for that mom who's going to engage in your content, who's going to help do the research and do the legwork to figure out what we can do better and then share it, I'm your girl. I'm your girl because I made a decision that this was my plan A and there is no plan B. So I'm here figuring this thing out and addressing every little detail that I have control over, and I'm forgetting the rest. Because I can't change things I don't have control over. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. So let's talk about what are you spending your time focusing on? Are you focusing on transformation or sales? Which do you think is going to be more attractive? Are you focused on promises and outcomes? And have you even thought about what your deliverables are? Okay, so here's the framework that you need to follow when you're creating a piece of content that you want other people to connect with, okay? What result will they walk away from this? What result will they walk away with? In other words, what transformation will they get? Okay, so there's a statement and you can fill in the blanks. By the end of this offer, you will be able to blank so that you can blank. So what are you passionate about? What transformation can you help other people achieve? Fill in the blanks with that question. By the end of this offer, you will be able to blank so that you can blank. Y'all, we've got about 4.5 minutes left before I have to run. And I want to be sure that you are clear that something big is coming tomorrow that you're not going to want to miss because it's up. I don't want to give it away. But let's just say it's going to make you feel warm and fuzzy because it's a safe space where we can talk about faith, freedom, and becoming that person that God's called us to be. Do you feel the stirring or the nudge to lean in? I want to remind you that you're called, you're equipped, and you can become positioned if you're not already. But I believe you are already positioned and that we just need to get you moving. So I'm going to remind you and spend the next few minutes on what you need to do to get on my LIST so that you don't miss this announcement first thing in the morning before anybody else hears about it in either of these two spaces. Okay? To get the first announcement, you just need to be on my LST. And to do that, you go right up here and use the LINK in my BIO. Okay? And then once you get that first message from me, you're good to go. By the way, that first message is going to include a blueprint, which is the same guidelines, the same framework and blueprint that I use to get started in the digital marketing space. So if that's why you're here and you are wanting to monetize and build for conversions, build for profit, then you need to have a plan and you need to learn from someone who's been before you. And I'm just sharing today that that's what you'll get. That first message from me that you'll get today includes the same message that I got that got me started. Okay. But then in the morning, you'll get another message from me, which is going to reveal the surprise that I have for tomorrow. All right. So we need to get you moving and activated. All right. Listen, I can help identify gray areas and gaps. But inside this program, there is also a mentor who has been doing this successfully for 3 years, and her bank account proves that she has systems that work. And she's layered them on top of each other, and she's sharing them with us inside that community. So this is not something that you're going to want to miss. Okay, Annie, come on in. Tell us where you're tuning in from. I was just letting other moms know that you can comment called in the chat so that you can get that blueprint, or you can use the LINK in my BIO. Over here, you can also use this right here. Okay. So if you want to learn more about why your content isn't converting, scan the QR code right there, and then you'll get that message straight in your inbox from me. And then we'll be connected. You can hit reply if you have any questions, but you can also get the information, evaluate it, decide for yourself if it's what you need. Okay? Listen, it's Thanksgiving week. I hope everyone is spending precious time with their family and that you are excited to focus on things that you're thankful for and grateful for this week. We're getting rain where I am today, which has been a blessing. And so I'm just grateful and thankful to be rolling out some new things at the end of this year that are really going to elevate 2026 for me and for you. And I hope that you're along for the ride. So if you and I have already connected and we're besties, you're going to get this information. If we aren't yet, we need to get you on that bestie list. Okay. What is the bestie list? It's my list where I can inbox you and message you that way. Okay. Because that's my number one form of communication is email. So let's do that. Let's get you on that list and we will connect over there. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow around 10 a.m. and I'm excited to talk more about that surprise I mentioned today. Okay. Y'all have a good day. Okay, friends, I don't know what happened there at the end of the call. We'll edit that out. But if you happen to be tuning in live, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for the outage that we just experienced. And I hope that you guys are ready for a great Thanksgiving. And I look forward to connecting with you guys again tomorrow. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you soon.